Class 8, Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, BRS, Nagar. An effort by Hanokor Class 8, Pink. For tuitions, please call 9815444985. Science, Chapter 13 Sound, Chapter Explanation. The sensation felt by our ears is called sound. Sound is a form of energy. Sound is that form of energy which makes us hear. Sound is produced by vibrating objects. To and fro or back and forth motion of an object is called vibration. Sound is a form of energy which is produced by a vibrating body in which particles of the medium move to and fro along the direction of propagation of the sound. It can travel through solids, liquids and gases. The speed of sound is maximum in solids and minimum in gases. Sound is produced when a stretched rubber band vibrates. Sound is produced when a sitar string vibrates. Sound is produced when our vocal cords vibrate. Sound is produced when the air column enclosed in a tube vibrates. Sound is produced when the membrane or skin of a tabla vibrates. Sound is produced when the stretched membrane or skin of a drum vibrates. We conclude that sound can be produced by the following methods. 1. By vibrating strings, as in a sitar. 2. By vibrating air columns, as in a flute. 3. By vibrating membranes, as in tabla. 4. By vibrating plates, as in a bicycle bell. Human beings produce sound by using the voice box which is called larynx. Voice box, or larynx, is situated in our throat at the top of the windpipe, or trachea. The human voice box, or larynx, contains two ligaments known as vocal cords. The vocal cords are a kind of string. Sound is produced by the vibrations of vocal cords. The vocal cords are attached to muscles which change the tension, stretching, in the cords and the distance between the cords. When we talk or sing, then the frequency of sound produced by us changes continuously. The changes in frequency of sound while talking or singing are brought about by the action of muscles attached to the vocal cords in the voice box. When the muscles attached to vocal cords contract and stretch, the vocal cords become tight and thin, and a sound of high frequency is produced. On the other hand, when the muscles relax, the vocal cords become loose and thick, and a sound of low frequency is produced. The vocal cords in men are about 20 mm long. In women these are about 15 mm long. Children have very short vocal cords. Due to the shorter vocal cords, the frequency, or pitch, of a woman's voice is higher than that of a man. Small children have very short vocal cords due to which the frequency, or pitch, of their voice is very high. This is why their voice is shrill. So, it is due to the different frequencies, or different pitch, caused by the different lengths of the vocal cords that the voices of men, women and children are different. A sound having high frequency, or high pitch, is said to be shrill. The voice of a small baby is even more shrill than that of a woman. Transmission of sound is called propagation of sound. Sound needs a medium for propagation. The substance through which sound travels is called medium. The medium can be a solid substance, a liquid or a gas. Sound cannot travel through vacuum because vacuum has no molecules which can vibrate and carry sound waves. Sound cannot be heard on the surface of the Moon because there is no air on the Moon to carry the sound waves, or sound vibrations. The speed of sound is different in different materials. It depends on the nature of the medium, or material, through which it travels. In general, sound travels slowest in gases, faster in liquids and fastest in solids. The ears are the sense organs which help us in hearing sound. The shape of the outer part of the ear is like a funnel. When sound enters it, it travels down a canal at the end of which there is a thin stretched membrane. It is called the eardrum. It performs an important function. The eardrum is like a stretched rubber sheet. Sound vibrations make the eardrum vibrate. The eardrum sends vibrations to the inner ear. From there, the signal goes to the brain. That is how we hear. The outer part of the ear is called pinna, and it is attached to about 2 to 3 cm long passage called ear canal. At the end of the ear canal a thin, elastic and circular membrane called eardrum is stretched tightly. There are 3 small and delicate bones called hammer, anvil and stirrup in the middle part of the ear which are linked to one another. One end of the hammer touches the eardrum and its other end is connected to the second bone anvil. The other end of the anvil is connected to a third bone called stirrup. And the free end of the stirrup touches the membrane over the oval window. The inner part of the ear has a coiled tube called cochlea. One end of the cochlea is connected to the middle part of the ear through the elastic membrane over the oval window. Cochlea is filled with a liquid. The liquid present in cochlea contains nerve cells which are sensitive to sound. The other end of the cochlea is connected to the auditory nerve which goes into the brain. The 3 tiny bones in the middle part of ear act as a system of levers and amplify sound vibrations coming from the eardrum before passing them on to the inner part of the ear cochlea. The maximum displacement of a vibrating object from its central position is called the amplitude of vibrations. The time taken by a vibrating object to complete one vibration is called its time period. Time period equals 1, frequency. The number of vibrations made in 1 second is called the frequency of vibration. The unit of frequency of vibrations, or oscillations, of a vibrating object is Hz, Hz. Pitch is that characteristic of sound by which we can distinguish between different sounds of the same loudness. The pitch of a sound is directly proportional to its frequency. If the frequency of vibration is low, the sound produced has a low pitch. On the other hand, if the frequency of vibration is high, the sound produced has a high pitch. A man's voice has a low frequency, so it has a low pitch. A woman's voice has high. The frequency determines the shrillness or pitch of a sound. If the frequency of vibration is higher, we say that the sound is shrill and has a higher pitch. If the frequency of vibration is lower, we say that the sound has a lower pitch. For example, a drum vibrates with a low frequency. Therefore, it produces a low-pitched sound. On the other hand, a whistle has a high frequency and therefore, produces a sound of higher pitch. A bird makes a high-pitched sound whereas a lion makes a low-pitched roar. However, the roar of a lion is very loud while the sound of the bird is quite feeble. Usually the voice of a woman has a higher frequency than that of a man. Loudness is a characteristic of a sound. It refers to how much energy a sound wave possesses. It depends on the amplitude of the sound wave. More the amplitude, more is the loudness of the sound. Loudness refers to how loud or soft a sound seems to a listener. The loudness of sound is determined, in turn, by the intensity of the sound waves. Intensity is a measure of the amount of energy in sound waves. The loudness is expressed in a unit called decibel dB. Loudness of sound is proportional to the square of the amplitude of the vibration producing the sound. Some idea of the loudness of sound coming from various sources. Normal breathing 10 decibels. Soft whisper 30 decibels. Normal conversation 60 decibels. Busy traffic 70 decibels. Average factory 80 decibels. Above 80 decibels the noise becomes physically painful. Audible and inaudible sounds. Sounds of frequencies less than about 20 vibrations per second, 20 Hz, cannot be detected by the human ear. Such sounds are called inaudible. On the higher side, sounds of frequencies higher than about 20,000 vibrations per second, 20 kHz, are also not audible to the human ear. Thus, for the human ear, the range of audible frequencies is roughly from 20 to 20,000 Hz. Some animals can hear sounds of frequencies higher than 20,000 Hz. The police use high-frequency whistles which dogs can hear but humans cannot. The ultrasound equipment, used for investigating and tracking many medical problems, works at frequencies higher than 20,000 Hz. Bat produces ultrasonic sound during screaming. The bats can also hear ultrasonic sounds. Some other animals like dogs, monkeys, deer and leopards can also hear ultrasonic sounds. Noise and music. Unpleasant sounds produced by horns of buses and trucks are called noise. Sound produced by a harmonium is a musical sound. Quality is that characteristic of sound which enables us to distinguish between the sounds produced by different sound-producing objects, like different musical instruments or different singers, even if they are of same loudness and pitch. The quality of sound produced by different musical instruments or different singers is different because they produce sound waves of different shapes. The quality of sound is also known as timbre. Noise pollution. The excessive unpleasant and unwanted sound is called noise pollution. Major causes of noise pollution are sounds of vehicles, explosions including bursting of crackers, machines, loudspeakers etc. Television and transistor radio at high volumes, some kitchen appliances, desert coolers, air conditioners all contribute to noise pollution. Presence of excessive noise in the surroundings may cause many health-related problems. Lack of sleep, hypertension, high blood pressure, anxiety and many more health disorders may be caused by noise pollution. A person who is exposed to a loud sound continuously may get temporary or even permanent impairment of hearing. Measures to limit noise pollution. To control noise, we must control the sources of noise. Silencing devices must be installed in aircraft engines, transport vehicles, industrial machines and home appliances. All noisy operations must be conducted away from any residential area. Noise-producing industries should be set up away from such areas. Use of automobile horns should be minimized. TV and music systems should be run at low volumes. Trees must be planted along the roads and around buildings to cut down on the sounds reaching the residents, thus reducing the harmful effects of noise pollution. Hearing impairment. Total hearing impairment, which is rare, is usually from birth itself. Partial disability is generally the result of a disease, injury or age. Children with impaired hearing need special care. By learning sign language, such children can communicate effectively. Because speech develops as the direct result of hearing, a child with a hearing loss may have defective speech also. Technological devices for the hearing impaired have made it possible for such persons to improve their quality of life. Society can do much to improve the living environment for the hearing impaired and help them live normal lives.